Hey guys, this is the Mangaloys podcast, back with a brand new episode for our third return in a long time.
Yes, and we're doing something a bit different today. We're not actually talking about anime. Now, a lot of people think of Mangaloids, they're only going to discuss manga, anime, that sort of stuff.
And Lloyds.
And Lloyds. But no, while we do love to chat about our friend Lloyd, we actually are more of just sad, nerdy losers.
Yeah, we're here to reach the masses, okay? The anime that I haven't watched much anime recently. This guy hasn't either. So
I've watched so much anime recently. I'm just watching all the airing stuff at the moment. You just don't watch anime at all.
You know, people would rather hear about Deadpool and Wolverine than like, I want to die in another world.
True.
No one's ever heard of that.
We're going to provide a lolicon perspective.
No, we are not.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, we are not.
Is that not like the thing that we're going for, the vibe?
That's not what we're going for now.
Oh. Well, okay, so sorry, that's not the unique perspective we're going for. But yeah, we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, the most recent film that's come out in the Deadpool trilogy.
In the MCU?
Yep, and I think it is... A lot of people have been saying, it's the best film that Marvel have produced since Endgame to revive the franchise. I actually think it's garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty naff. It's wasted potential, I think. Is the issue.
I think they tried to do too much to try and make it like, oh my god, look, there's this guy, and it literally became there's a cameo, oh, there's another cameo, oh, there's another. It's literally the cameo of every 5 minutes.
It's like, also, there's some like wasted potential. I mean, Chris Evans comes in, and then he becomes a Human Torch. I think the writers forgot that Chris Evans was Captain America.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
What they must have done is they must have got one of like the old writers in or whatever, because they wanted to spice it up again, and he obviously was the one who did the original Fantastic Four, and so he obviously was like, we'll get Chris Evans back because he's the Human Torch, and obviously he must have got confused and forgot that obviously Captain America is played by Chris Evans as well. I can understand that being a bit of a misconception.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like quite often now Disney keep hiring writing staff who haven't actually seen the franchises that they're from. So when they see Chris Evans, you think Captain America, but this writer thought Human Torch, and I think that's a bit of wasted potential. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we saw loads of other people as well. They got that bald woman. She was Cassandra Nova, who was actually Charles Xavier's twin in an alternate timeline. She tries to strangle him in the womb, that sort of stuff.
I think that's wasted potential. Where's Charles Xavier in all this?
Yeah, but I mean, I just think it was just, here's a British villain, Paradox. He's quite cool. He's a TVA agent. He's trying to, eradicate this universe. He's a bad guy. And then they thought, no, we need another British villain. So they brought this bald woman in, and she's like even more of a British villain. And so she then beats up the other British villain. You're like, okay, so who's the big bad here? Like, you know what I mean? I think it was, they tried to do so much by adding, they did like all the Deadpools in there. They got multiple variants of Wolverine. They got obviously the Chris Evans. They got Elytra.
I think Sabretooth was probably the most grounded character in the whole,
yeah, no, you make a good point, because I think they did justice because there's a lot of the old mutants that came back from Fox. They dissed Fox a lot in that, and then at the end they were like, oh no, thank you Fox, but like you've got to pick a stance. You either crap all over Fox or you praise them for the work they did in the X-Men.
You can't give like a neutral perspective here. You can't do that in these times. Okay, it's either you're all the way one way or all the other way.
I think it was good to see some of the old characters come back. Like they had Toad, Pyro.
Who's Toad?
Exactly. From the old X-Men that they brought back this one, and Sabretooth. So you're like, okay, so we get to see them sort of, the characters a bit more, how they fit into the MCU. They fit by all being killed off. You know what I mean? But then we got to see, I like Gambit though. I thought Gambit's character was
Is he the guy with the cards?
Yeah, the one with the really funny accent. He's cool, and I loved him in the comics. Remy LeBeau is his name, and he's really cool. But then they gave him a stupid joke of him not being able to speak properly.
It was pretty silly. I think
it was. It was literally like a little throwaway laugh, but it ruined his whole character because there's times he's talking, and every time he spoke, I didn't understand what he was saying, which obviously was funny for that one line of, "I'm sorry, love. Who's your dialect coach of the Minions?" You're like, ah, ha, 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 ha. But then I don't understand what he's saying, and so there's the occasional word that makes sense.
He's seen it 4 times by the way.
Yeah, so I think I know what I'm talking about, guys.
You just can quote the whole movie.
Yeah, so you like I know some people might disagree with me, but I've seen it 4 times in the opening weekend, so I think I know what I'm on about. So don't even bother commenting telling me that I'm wrong.
Your opinion's wrong. You've seen it so many times that you had the most.
I might as well have written the thing. That's how well I know it. Like, there were some good scenes. There were scenes that I did enjoy, that I thought were done well. The car scene was alright. I think they missed a couple of jokes that I would have put in there. Because obviously I'm funnier than them.
I quite like what?
So, you know, there's the scene when they're fighting in the car, right?
Yeah.
What we needed was like a wide angle from the distance of you just see this car in the forest just bouncing up and down, going, which would have made a really good joke, because obviously the joke is the dogging.
It's not the...
Bro, that would have been such a... And I was waiting for it, and it never happened. And so
You
I was
were
quite
waiting for
disappointed.
it.
I was waiting for that, because I was like, that it's like the most obvious joke that I could have thought of.
But Disney are never ever gonna have that in their movie.
Bro, they could have anything other than cocaine. Which is another thing. I thought the whole like cocaine thing was a bit ridiculous, because cocaine's not a joke and it's not a good thing. I'm being serious. And so I think for them to make light of being like, oh yeah, I want to do cocaine but I can't because Marvel won't let me, is like, what message really is that sending out to people? You know what I mean? So there was things like that like, and they were insulting woke people.
Yeah,
I thought, he's like, oh no, I don't want to get cancelled, or oh, you'll offend ableism, you'll offend the woke mob. It's when Cassandra Nova gets out of the wheelchair.
See, Eminem did it a month ago. It's old news now, so I think
Yeah.
they kind of copied that off Eminem's album from a month ago. I feel like
that's just,
I feel like the title of the movie, it should have been called Wolverine and Deadpool. I don't know. It was
because Wolverine hard carried that film. It was a Wolverine film that Deadpool was in.
It was a Wolverine film that Deadpool was in. Deadpool was barely in the movie.
He didn't have any character development. It was Wolverine that had all the character development. You know, he went from being depressed, alcoholic because he messed up in his timeline, to then being miserable the whole film, to then at the end tolerating Deadpool. Like, that is a character arc.
I thought the ending was kind of like a bit of a.
I did like the Madonna at the end though.
The who?
The Madonna song right at the end.
Yeah, but
it goes hard.
But how do they both live?
Because I've seen it 4 times, I can answer this question. So they both managed to... Spoiler warning, by the way, obviously. Because, so, Paradox tells them that one is filled with antimatter. I don't know why he says it like that. But there's antimatter and regular matter. I don't know why they need a special pipe for the matter, but... And also, what is the tube made out of that the antimatter's made out of? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Okay, how have they made it? Because otherwise, if it's made of matter, it would just annihilate.
Yeah.
But if it was made of antimatter, then everything around it would annihilate. So it's made out of magic metal number X. And so
my favourite.
And so the plan was, obviously, Deadpool grabs antimatter, he grabs matter. The matter flows through his body, and antimatter in equal proportions in his body.
Yeah.
And annihilates, and that would annihilate his entire being. I mean, being filled with antimatter already would have annihilated his entire being, but we ignore that. So then, the fact that, so if it was just one person holding it, it would have been an equal blend, and so it would have annihilated him. But when Wolverine grabbed the antimatter, and Deadpool grabbed the matter, Wolverine was filled with the antimatter, Deadpool was filled with the matter, and the only point that it connected was as they were holding hands. So there was no mix in their bodies.
Oh, no,
the mix was where they were tortured. Yeah,
okay.
But they can regenerate that, which is the only reason they survived.
Okay,
is my opinion, but it makes the most sense.
Yeah, but still, one of them touched antimatter, which should have killed them anyway.
Yeah, well, no, I think as their bodies annihilate and they can regenerate through that. But it's when the two fully it's because it was concentrated. If concentrated matter and concentrated antimatter were to use it.
Is it Cassandra Nova?
Yeah.
As Cassandra is like doing the machine, the percentage goes down at irregular intervals, and I thought that was inconsistent.
I did annoy me that, because it's like it goes down to like 1%, and then she's like, and it goes up to like 4%, and then goes down back to like 2%. And I was like,
it's a bit silly.
It's pretty obvious that they were going to be her, so there was no need for that. Ooh, they just wasted time. There's a couple of
obviously Cassandra wasn't going to win.
But I thought there was a couple of times where they wasted time, and and obviously even they made jokes about they're used to long run times, or we're in the home stretch now, guys. Don't worry. So, and I think the fact that they have to make comments about that just says that obviously the film goes on for, and I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, so
I thought the first scene as well, by the way, I think we should address that. The very opening scene of the film is extremely morbid and quite dark.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too much for an opening scene of a movie. It should be an 18+.
Yeah, but like, I mean, it is R-rated in America. We're just like tough as
nails.
Yeah, and so we have it as a 15. But I mean, it was more the point of, I thought it was just quite a morbid, like, people are supposed to find that funny. Him literally violating the skeleton of Wolverine, pulling it apart and throwing it at people. and it's like attach it to himself. It's quite, if you think about it, it's actually really messed up and quite dark. And the fact that that is what's supposed to pass as humour in this film basically just summed it up for me from the start. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
There was like a thing that was in the trailer beforehand, and it was a fight scene between Wolverine and Deadpool, and it mimicked the fights between Flash Thompson and Tobey Maguire in the first Spider-Man film, and it was never in the movie.
Yeah,
wasted potential.
Yeah, there's a few things that were like that.
Wasted potential.
Yeah, I mean I mean, I can understand why people would like it. You know, it was a somewhat light-hearted film. It was quite good to have all these cameo appearances, but it just felt more like a Comic-Con. You know, when they bring characters out and everyone's like, oh my god, they brought this person out. It felt more like that than a film that had a good story. It was hard carried by the nostalgia and the shock of these characters returning.
I didn't know who the person was with like the two like small swords.
The one with the two small swords?
Yeah, the one with the two small swords.
At which point?
When they're having the fight scene inside the Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So you got the guy with the cards, you got Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Wolverine, Deadpool.
Yeah.
You got your X-23.
Yeah, the woman, Elytra.
Yeah. Her.
She's from the Daredevil movie, and she did have her own spin-off, I think.
I've never seen a Daredevil movie.
No, I know who she is, but I've never seen any of the stuff that she's in. But like I say, it was just them throwing all these people in there, and it was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was upsetting really because it did obviously have a lot of potential.
I think it's pretty silly how Nice Pool wasn't bulletproof.
He didn't regenerate. Yeah,
not canon.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's just there's just things like that just really just wound me up because they obviously would throw certain characters away as a joke, or they do certain jokes that aren't really that funny. Like, oh yeah, I've just murdered this guy. And then he realised he didn't regenerate, and rather than trying to help him, he just pulled him back out and just got him filled with bullets again. Stands there, you know, it's quite morbid and dark for the expense of a laugh, which I just didn't think it was funny. I just sat there in complete another shock.
4 times as well.
4 times.
Yeah, you know, must take a toll.
Yeah, it does. And like, but a lot of people have said that it's a really good film, and I mean, obviously you are entitled to your own wrong opinions, but
exactly.
I don't think this is the way that Marvel should be going. Like, they shouldn't be trying to do this sort of stuff to try and revive their cinematic universe.
Also they kept dissing the fact that the Marvel cinematic universe at the moment is really bad. I actually really like the 400 TV shows that are all really bad.
People, right? Rogue shout, the Marvels. One of the best things that Marvel have.
See, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's like one of the best films.
Well, a lot of people were like, they didn't like it, but I think that's because they didn't understand it. The Marvels.
Have you actually seen it?
No. The Marvels is actually incredible. Like, and it's a shame because it could have been so much better, but they had to change things in post-production because of certain things that happened, and people were complaining about certain stuff, so they tried to switch things, and I think in its pure original form, it would have been so much better.
I think it's just people who didn't like Brie Larson, so they weren't giving it a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they went into like a negative emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she should be the face and heart of Marvel.
No, I think she should, yeah.
I mean, her character is called Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
so.
she's like the strongest person in Marvel, so why is she not
But
the
anyway,
face
we're getting sidetracked from Deadpool and Wolverine. I think, what would you have given it out of 10 then?
3.
Yeah. See, my favourite Marvel film is Thor.
Love and Thunder.
Ragnarok.
Not Love and Thunder?
No, not Love and Thunder. Thor Ragnarok is my favourite film, Marvel film of all time. I like all the Thors, to be fair. I think Dark World's like...
Definitely like...
I think it's one of the best. I think all the Thor films are like the best sort of spin-offs that Marvel have done.
Spin-offs?
Well, like of each independent character, I mean, is like the character films. But I would put Deadpool and Wolverine. I'd be generous and give it a 4 because, like I said, they had a lot. It was carried by a lot of the cameos.
Yeah.
Seeing some characters again were like cool, even though they got Chris Evans' character wrong.
No, I actually don't know how Marvel can get to the point where they forget that Chris Evans is Captain America.
Yeah, that was a bit stupid. I will be honest.
That was a bit silly.
Yeah, but
I mean, even I know he's Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows he's Captain America, but they thought, oh, we'll cast him as the fire guy from Fantastic Four.
Also, in the post-credit scene, Chris Evans says all those like really nasty things about Cassandra. I thought that was a bit mean.
Yeah, because his whole character, like that's an excellent point. That end credit scene literally could cost him his career. Because his whole career is built around him being the pretty boy, the nice boy. You know, he's always well mannered. He like he's in Captain America. You know, he's well mannered. He's respectful and that sort of stuff. That's the character he always gets cast as. That's who he plays. Yeah. And so this scene at the end is going to completely out of character for him. And I think a lot of people, casting directors and stuff, will now look at that scene and think, no, we can't cast him for that sort of stuff now because he's done that one scene. And so that literally could cost him his career. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him appear in anything else for a while. No, he might come back into Marvel or something like that. He'll have to beg them to let him come back because he won't get any other jobs now, based on that one scene that they did as a joke that I didn't find that funny, to be honest.
It's going to ruin his reputation.
Literally. And I'll tell you who. Cassandra Nova.
It's going to torture your reputation.
Yes, that was a better joke than most of the things that were in the film.
Yeah, exactly what kind of thing.
Wow. But on that bombshell, that's our honest reviews of.
Yep, honest reviews.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope to see you back. We'll be doing more talk reviews and things on other things outside of anime, stuff like that. Honest reviews that people don't want to face the truth. It's very easy to watch something and just be blinded by, you know, the flashiness and the money that's been clearly put into it and the production value, and not to look at literally the inner workings of the film and how the film is portrayed. It's just, you've got to, that's what we're here for. I bet you now sat there going, oh, you know what? They've actually made really good points there, and they now hate the film. We don't want you to hate the film.
See, they'll probably watch this and be like, oh, I know I saw Chris Evans in one of the Marvel films, and then they'll remember he was Captain America.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, we don't want you to hate the film. We don't want to incite any hate or anything like that. We're just telling you basically how it actually is and pulling off the veil that society puts over these films. If they spent millions on it, you have to like it. So, yeah, we won't be taking feedback. If you have an opinion, you can put it in the comments, but we won't be listening because you'll be wrong.
Are we going to tag this video Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler-free review, even though it contains spoilers?
No, that's mean. That is too mean. We'll just title it honestly of Deadpool versus Wolverine is worse than the Marvels.
in brackets, we haven't seen the Marvels.
Yeah, infinite IQ. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you in another video.
TTYL?
Yeah.